Hi there, very good morning, Srishti. Well,
Good morning.
it's Market Cafe and we're right here to bring you all the domestic and global cues that we're tracking this morning, and we'll also tell you about all the stocks that you need to keep on your radar this morning before the start of these feeds. So let's get started with how the US markets fared. Srishti, very interesting moves coming for the US market. Despite the US government shutdown that has been going on, they've started the week on a strong note. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq, they've closed at record levels yet again. They were driven by the upbeat sentiment around mergers and acquisitions. The S&P 500 gained about 0.4%, whereas the Nasdaq, that rose 0.7%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, on the other hand, that slipped about 1.6%. It was weighed by losses in Sherwin-Williams and Home Depot. Now, the standout mover was, of course, AMD, which surged nearly 24% after announcing a partnership with Sam Altman's AI firm, that is OpenAI, giving the ChatGPT parent a 10% stake in the chip maker. Now, this deal has sparked excitement in the AI space, even as rival Nvidia, that has come under some pressure. If you talk about US banking stocks, they also gained some traction, with Commercia rallying about 14% after Fifth Third Bancorp agreed to buy it in a $10.9 billion all-stock deal, forming the 9th largest US bank by assets. So that's about the US markets largely. Now, analysts are saying that optimism around lower interest rates, which is a key business-friendly environment, and rising M&A activity are fueling investor confidence, even as the US government shutdown that dragged into a second week, delaying some of the key data like the jobs report that was due last Friday. Despite all of this uncertainty, markets remain upbeat on earnings growth and Fed rate cut expectations, with many strategists now eyeing the S&P 500 at 7,000 by the year end. But Srishti, how are things on the crude front? Very interesting moves here as well because of the US shutdown that has been going on.
Well, yes, that is one of the factors, but the other factor is that the markets seem to be digesting the kind of OPEC plus meeting outcome, and along with that, we have seen a bit of a jump up when it comes to the crude oil prices. Just yesterday, we have seen almost 1% jump coming in on Brent crude. Even WTI was up over 1%. As of now, Brent is hovering around that $65 per barrel mark, while for WTI, the number is at around $62 per barrel mark. But it's not just the crude that is on the move, but it's also the gold prices that are seeing no stopping, because yet again, we have seen over a 1% surge overnight when it comes to the gold prices. And as of now as well, it is very well at its record high level and above that $3,980 per barrel mark.
Absolutely, Srishti. Oil steadying around those levels, and gold has been rallying, very close to that $4,000 per ounce mark. But let's get tracking some of the other top global stories that we are tracking this morning. First up, Donald Trump has announced a new 25% tariff on all imported medium and heavy-duty trucks with effect from November 1st. Now, this move framed as protecting U.S. truck makers drew swift backlash from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which has warned that the duties target key allies, including Mexico, Canada, Japan, and Germany. Now, remember, Mexico, the largest exporter of such trucks to the U.S., could be hit the hardest. Now, while Trump did defend his tariff playbook, he has argued that the power to impose tariffs helped avoid wars across the world. He has reiterated that he played a key role in easing tensions between India and Pakistan. Let's listen into his latest comments.
If I didn't have the power of tariffs, you would have at least 4 of the 7 wars raging. I use tariffs to stop wars. If you look at India and Pakistan, they were ready to go at it. 7 planes we shot down. They were ready to go at it. And then nuclear powers. And I don't want to say exactly what I said, but what I said was very effective. They stopped. And that was based on tariffs. It was based on trade. Tariffs are very important for the United States. We are a peacekeeper because of tariffs.
All right, interesting comments coming in from Donald Trump. But with this, let's also tell you what else we are tracking this morning. And firstly, it's AMD shares that sold almost 24% after OpenAI struck a deal to take up to 10% stake in the chip maker. The partnership will see OpenAI deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD's Instinct GPUs over several years, starting in 2026, fueling its push for more computing power to scale AI products. Now, AMD granted OpenAI a warrant for 160 million shares tied to deployment and share price milestones. Along with that, even Tesla was on the move. Shares jumped 5% after the automaker dropped 2 cryptic teaser videos on X hinting at a major vehicle reveal on October 7. One chip showed a spinning component and another pair of sleek headlines. Now the posts have ignited speculation that Tesla could finally unveil its next generation Roadster, which was first teased back in 2017, or perhaps a new mass market model aimed at boosting sales.
Alright then, moving on. French market slumped after the shock resignation of Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu triggered the steepest one-day drop in over a month. The CAC 40 fell nearly 1.5%, led lower by luxury giants and banks, while concerns over France's widening budget deficit rattled investors. Next up, the 2025 Nobel Prize in Medicine has gone to Mary Branco, Fred Ramsdell and Shimon Sakaguchi for groundbreaking work on how the immune system avoids attacking itself. Their discovery of regulatory T cells, white blood cells that act as immune brakes, has opened new frontiers in treating autoimmune diseases and cancer. With over 200 clinical trials now underway, their research is shaping medicine's understanding of immune control. Now, this marks the first Nobel of 2025, with physics up next today.
Alright, but for this year, it's time now to slip into a very short break. Don't stay anywhere. As we come right back, we will be highlighting what's the setup looking like for the Indian markets, as well as the stocks that you should be watching out for.
Market Cafe with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Srishti Sharma. Well, time now to take a look at how the Asia Pacific markets have opened up this morning. First up, let's talk about Japan's Nikkei. Now, that has hit a record high yet again for the second consecutive day. This was lifted by a tech rally that we saw on Wall Street after a massive deal between OpenAI and AMD. Now, this deal is also leading to gains in the Japanese market, especially with chip, as far as chip stocks are concerned. If you take a look at the index, it's up nearly 0.6% at that 48,265 mark, up more than 320 points. Now, chip stocks are among the top movers on the index. Shares of Advantage, they have risen about 4%, while Tokyo Electron, that added 2%. Laser Tech was up about 1.5%, whereas Renesas Electronics, all of these chip stocks, now this one has advanced about 4.8%. Now remember, the Nikkei did hit a fresh high yesterday as well after Japan's ruling liberal Democratic Party elected staunch conservative Sanae Takaichi as its new leader on Saturday. So that's about the Japanese market. Now, if you take a look at Australia's ASX S&P 200, that's also that's the one that's actually trading in the red right now, down about 0.3% at that 8,954 level. So that's about the Australian market. So mixed moves coming in as far as the Asia Pacific markets are concerned. Meanwhile, Chinese, Hong Kong and South Korean markets, they are closed for holidays. Now, if you take a look at the Nifty, we did end at that above that 25,000 level yesterday, up more than 180 points, up about 0.7%. If you take a look at what the Nifty is suggesting, we're expecting a very flat start, just down about 27 points. So yes, a flat start is what we are expecting, but with a negative bias so far. That's what the indication we are getting from the Nifty implied open. So yes, Srishti, let's see where the market goes, whether or not we are able to retain that 25,000 mark.
Well, yes, that will be interesting to watch out for. And just even yesterday, we have seen interesting moves coming in on both the benchmark indices. Another positive day of trade. It was on the Lal Street, and that was seen to be advancing for the third straight session. But with this, let me take it across to my colleague Snehi, who is here to tell us how did the market pan out in yesterday's trading session. Snehi.
Well, yes, a good day of trade is what the market saw, and good moves coming in above the 25,000 mark is where we closed comfortably, so 24,077 to be precise. Almost a 185 point uptick coming in, an intraday uptick on the spot, Nifty spot. Sensex too, almost a 600 point uptick coming in over there, 0.7% higher. So above that 81,790, in fact very close to 81,800 is where we closed on the Sensex as well. India VIX was up 1%, Nifty back also in tandem with the benchmarks about 0.9% higher, and almost a very close to 500-point uptick is something that we've seen on Nifty Bank. Above that 56,000 mark is where Nifty Bank closed to. The big winners were of course from the entire banking and financial space. So that was the first space to watch out for on the back of mostly healthy quarter 2 updates coming in from across the sector. So you had Shriram Finance that did well. You had IT stocks that were doing very well. So TCS, Tech Mahindra, the Infosys, all of them did well. This was followed by Kotak Bank, Axis Bank. So it was all throughout the day the shade of green died in majority with the IT pack as well as the banking and financials. On the flip side, some pressure from metal stocks. So Tata Steel, that stock was under pressure. This was followed by Adani Ports, Power Grid, Eicher, ITC, NTPC and IndusInd Bank, whose quarter 2 update was slightly weak. If we take a look at the sectoral performance, like I mentioned, it was IT. Top sectoral gainer of the day, a 2.2% uptick coming in on that index, led equally by both mid caps and large caps. You had Coforge, LTI, Mindtree, TCS, Tech Mahindra, Persistent, Infosys, Wipro, all of them that did well in equal measure. This was followed by financial services, Nifty Bank, Realty, PSU Banks, Auto and Pharma. Energy on the flat line with a hint of a negative bias, followed by Nifty FMCG and Nifty Metal. Almost a 1% cut coming in on Nifty Metal, and the top sectoral loser led lower by Jindal Steel, JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Nalco, SAIL, NMDC. All of these stocks were in the red. Another pack to watch out for was the entire hospitals pack on the back of the revision coming in from the central government in terms of the rates. So positive for private players like Fortis Healthcare was up 7.5%. Cure did well, Max Healthcare, Apollo, KIMS, Medanta, all of these stocks have done very well. Aditya Birla Lifestyle Brands was also in focus, 7.5% uptick on the back of a block deal that we saw. And Nykaa also did well, 6.5% uptick on the back of very healthy quarter 2 update. So that was the roundup of the market, and all eyes are going to be on how long we're able to sustain above the 25,000 mark and what is going to be the next resistance level for the Nifty.
All right, thanks Nehi for taking us through that entire roundup. But before we let you go, also tell us about all the cues that we must keep on our radar today.
Well, yes, lots of cues to watch out for. On Tuesday means it's weekly Nifty expiry, so watch out for any market volatility on the back of this expiry. Globally from US, we're expecting to see the trade data from China, Forex reserves, but remember the Chinese markets will continue to be closed on the back of their golden week. From Japan, you also have the household spendings data to watch out for. In terms of global earnings, the giant group CVS group that will be out with its earnings, so watch out for that. And in terms of the primary markets back home, you have lots of action happening tomorrow. LG Electronics IPO will be opening, Anantam Highway Invit IPO opens, WeWork India IPO closes, and this IPO will be listing, so watch out for that, along with a couple of more listings happening on D Street as well. Now, in terms of some other events, watch out for the Global FinTech Fest that kicks off in Mumbai, and PM Modi is expected to attend. Feds Rafael Bostic and Neil Kashkari are expected to speak. Their individual Fed presidents. CEOs of the top listed companies will be speaking at the Budapest Economic Forum, so expect to see some commentary from major corporate leaders in this event as well. And last, Ray Dalio will be speaking at the Greenwich Economic Forum, so watch out for that as well. Keep a close eye on all of these cues.
Alright, thank you so much, Sneh, for getting us all those details, but a lot of stocks to watch out for as well in today's trading session. And let me take it across to Ashesha, who's standing by with a list of counters. Ashesha, good morning. Over to you.
Good morning, and let's start with the operational updates first. Then Bank of India from the BFSI sector has reported very strong updates for the quarter gone by. And deposits have seen a solid growth of about 10% on a year-on-year basis, and gross advances too has seen a solid uptick of nearly 14% on a year-on-year basis. So very strong set of operational updates that this counter has reported. Bank of India in focus on the back of that. Let's also put the spotlight on Metropolis Healthcare then. The stock was in focus yesterday, will continue to remain in focus today. It has delivered a strong 23% YOY revenue growth at the consolidated level. B2C revenues have seen an uptick of 16% YOY, and B2B revenue growth stood at about 34% on a year-on-year basis. So very strong set of operational updates that Metropolis Healthcare has reported yesterday. Meanwhile, telecom stocks will also be in focus. The likes of Reliance Jio, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea on the back of subscriber addition data that the company has reported for the month gone by. Reliance Jio added nearly 20 lakh net subscribers in the month of August. Bharti Airtel about 5 lakh net subscribers. But Vodafone Idea on the flip side has lost nearly 3 lakh subscribers in the month of August. So Vodafone Idea, negative news coming in for them, but positive news coming in for Reliance Industries and for Bharti Airtel as well. Meanwhile, Brigade Enterprises on the back of a JDA that the company has signed
for a premium residential development project in Chennai, and the gross development value of this project will stand at about 1,000 odd crores. Lastly, let's talk about Dilip Buildcon. This is also on the back of an order win, where the company said that through a JV, they have received LOA for development of 100 megawatt grid-connected ground-mounted solar PV project. This will be done at about 2.09 rupees per unit. So on the back of these order wins, keep an eye out on Dilip Buildcon as well.
All right, thank you so much, Ashisha, for getting us that list of counters to be watched out for. But along with that, let's also tell you which are the other stocks that we are tracking this morning. And from the IT pack, all eyes will be on LTI Mindtree, because as the company has won its highest ever deal, it's a multi-year deal that they have won with global entertainment leader, and on the back of that, this particular counter will be in focus. And under the agreement, LTI Mindtree will play a role in the company's digital transformation efforts to streamline the operations and modernize the delivery models as well. So LTI Mindtree will be the key to watch out for, as the company has actually won its largest ever deals. All eyes on that. But from the IT pack, we will be watching out for HCL Tech as well, as they have joined MIT Media Lab in US to collaborate on the next gen AI research. This new engagement reflects HCL Tech's ongoing commitment to shaping the future of AI and accelerating the breakthrough in the emerging technologies space. Along with that, Mahanagar Gas will be in focus. Along with that, Oil India will be in focus as well, because both the companies have actually signed an MOU to collaborate across the LNG value chain. Along with that, Aditya Birla Lifestyle, a positive, or rather a news flow coming in, because just yesterday we had seen a block deal happening wherein Flipkart is seen to be selling over 7 crore shares at 136.45 paisa, and this particular counter will be in focus because on the other side, the buyers list include Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund, ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund, Morgan Stanley Asia Singapore, SBI Life, as well as UTI AMC. So good names coming in on this block deal. And lastly, Zydus Life will be in focus as well, because here we get to understand the company has received an approval from the Canadian authority for one of their drugs, which is actually used for hypothyroidism, and this counter will be in focus on the back of this positive news flow.
All right, then, Srishti, lots of stocks to watch out today. Let's see how they pan out. But on that note, we'll take a very short break. Be right back with more news and updates coming up on the other side. Counting of votes will be done on November 14th. The Chief Election Commissioner Gyanesh Kumar announced all of these details yesterday. Now, this entire election process will be concluded by November 16th, with 121 assembly constituencies going through the polls in the first phase. Voting will be held in 122 assembly constituencies in the second phase. Now, CEC Gyanesh Kumar has termed the Bihar elections as the mother of all elections. The term of the current assembly ends on November 22nd. Bihar has 243 constituencies, including 2 reserved for scheduled tribes and 38 for scheduled castes. Now, let's listen in to what the Chief Election Commissioner had to say about the Bihar polls that begin in November.
बिहार के चुनाव 2 फेजेस में होंगे। पहले फेज के गैजेट नोटिफिकेशन 10 तारीख को आएगा, दूसरे का 13 को। लास्ट डेट ऑफ मेकिंग नॉमिनेशंस पहले फेज की 17 को होगी, दूसरे की 20 को। स्क्रूटनी 18 और 21। विड्रॉल की आखिरी तारीख 20 अक्टूबर और 23 अक्टूबर, और डेट ऑफ पोल 6 नवंबर थर्सडे और दूसरा 11 नवंबर ट्यूसडे। काउंटिंग 14 नवंबर को होगी और पूरी चुनावी प्रक्रिया 16 नवंबर तक समाप्त कर ली जाएगी।
Right, but with this, let me take it across to my colleague Sameer, who joins in with more details on this one. Sameer.
The Election Commission has announced the polling dates for the Bihar election for the 243 assembly seats. The Bihar election will take place in two phases. The first phase or the first polling date is going to be November 6th and the second polling date is November 11th. The result will be announced on November 14th when the counting will take place. So a two-phase election will take place. Last time in year 2020, a three-phase election was conducted, but this time the Election Commission has said that they want to make it a bit quick. But this time they are ruling out many new features or many first time kind of a step. For example, 100% webcasting will be done to avoid any kind of suspicion. Not just this, the general observer will be appointed for each and every assembly seat. The ongoing assembly session is getting expired or the session is getting over on November 23rd, and that is the reason that the new government will take place, or at least a clarity will be there before November 23rd this year. For the same, the election is being conducted in two phases, and in addition to this, there are a couple of new steps that have been taken. For example, a purified electoral roll will take place. For example, the SIR, the Special Investigative Report, has been intensive revision has been completed by the Election Commission. Election Commission has also announced that this SIR, the Special Intensive Revision, will be carried out in the entire country as well. Also, the mobile deposit will be there. Once a voter reaches to the polling booth before casting the vote, the mobile will be deposited. That will be conducted at all the polling stations. There are going to be women monitored polling station as well. In addition to this, a helpline number has also been issued for the voters, so that if in case they have any complaints or they are looking for grievance redressal, then a voting helpline number has also been issued. But it is going to be very interesting this time when Bihar will be going for the voting phase, because this time we have seen that a new political party led by Prashant Kishore is also in the battlefield, and it will be interesting to see whether it is going to have any anti-incumbency factor, or the ruling NDA party will once again make a comeback.
All right, thank you, Sameer, for all those details. Moving on to the next update then, Navi Mumbai International Airport is a special purpose vehicle established for the design, development, construction, operation, maintenance, management and expansion of the Greenfield International Airport project at Navi Mumbai. Now, it is a public-private partnership between Mumbai International Airport and the subsidiary of Adani Airports Holdings called CIDCO. Now, NMIAL is committed to building a sustainable airport that caters to the burgeoning air traffic demands of the Mumbai metropolitan region and Western India as well, while strengthening alongside India's global connectivity. Now, Adani Group plans to invest an additional 30,000 crore rupees to expand the Navi Mumbai International Airport, which is set to begin operations in December. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the first phase of the airport tomorrow. Sameer, my colleague, is here to take us through all the key points that we need to know about this new airport that is to be inaugurated tomorrow.
So, Navi Mumbai International Airport is all set to be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 8th of October, but the commercial operation from this airport will start most likely by the first week of December. Roughly around 20,000 crore of investment has been made by the Adani Group in this building this infrastructure, but not just limiting to this particular phase. Adani Group is looking to have the expansion part as well. And the next phase of expansion is likely to be completed by year 2029. And for this expansion, Adani Group is looking to infuse an investment of around rupees 30,000 crore. Once the entire project is completed or the full-fledged Navi Mumbai International Airport comes into operations, it will be ready for catering to a passenger capacity of 90 million passengers per annum. As of now, when the first phase will go for the execution part, when there will be only one runway, then it will cater to a passenger capacity of 20 million passengers per annum. Going forward, Adani Group is also looking to develop this airport as an international hub, as a passenger terminal hub, similar on the lines of Dubai International Airport, and not just catering to the passenger part. Even when it comes to the cargo aspect, then the group is looking to develop this Navi Mumbai Airport as a important cargo hub that will cater to a capacity of roughly around 3.9 million metric ton when it will be fully operational. And also, it will have a very large MRO facility, the maintenance, research and overhaul capacity as well. So that is going to be a very important international airport, Navi Mumbai International Airport. And this we have seen that already 3 airlines, Akasa Air, Indigo and Air India Group have already announced the partnership with the Navi Mumbai Airport, and they will be taking off the flights from this airport very soon.
All right, thank you so much, Samir, for getting us all those details. We're moving on to another story then, and customers gain 20% total benefit, including lower vehicle costs and premium, says Shashikant Dahuja, who is the ED of Shriram General Insurance. Let's go across and listen into this conversation with ET Now's Anurag Shah.
On the old vehicles also, there will be an impact, but not if I compare this with the new vehicles, on the new vehicles it will be more as compared to the old vehicles.
Okay, so in a new vehicles for insurance premium, how much the net insurance premium will go down?
Like suppose if the GST has come down from 28 to 18%, so there will be a reduction of 10% pricing. So the same way premium will come down. Let's say if I am charging a 2% rate, so now on 100,000, let's say IDV, now I'll have to charge the same pricing on 90,000. So it will have a reduction in the premium. It will have a negative impact on the loss ratio also.
10% premium will also come down.
Yes, obviously.
Somebody was paying 80,000 premium as an insurance premium. Now they will pay around 70, 72.
Yes, right.
And so my second question is related to the reinsurance. How in the last 6 months reinsurance pricing has changed and impacted insurance industry?
Now, if you must have heard the word called climate change. Now, it is now putting an impact not only in Indian market, even at a global level also. Now, we have seen in the last few months' time, lot of floods are happening in the Indian market. Lots of rain is happening in the Indian market. In the last 6-7 years, I think almost every state have got those kind of floods. Even cloud bursting has started happening. We have an example of Uttarakhand, we have an example of Jammu Kashmir, we have an example of many parts of the countries. So now, this will definitely have a negative impact on the reinsurance pricing. But luckily, we don't have the kind of catastrophic event we have got in the last few months' time. Have not much losses as compared to if I compare it with other countries. But you never know, in the next few years' time, if it keep happening this kind of cat events, it will definitely have a negative impact on the reinsurance pricing.
All right, then moving on and shifting focus to the defense space now. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will be visiting Australia this month. Rajnath Singh will be meeting Australia Deputy Prime Minister and will hold key meetings on India-Australia defense cooperation. My colleague Sumita Karira is here to take us through all the details.
That's right. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be travelling to Australia. His travel is scheduled from 7th till the 10th of October. Remember, this assumes significance because this is going to be the first visit by an Indian Defence Minister in over a decade. So what can be expected? Well, a boost for India-Australia defence cooperation can be expected, and there is a possibility of 3 key defence pacts getting signed. In fact, there's going to be a detailed review of the Indo-Pacific situation as well. Remember, Singh is travelling at the invitation of Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and his Australian counterpart. So, of course, there's going to be talks around security in the Indo-Pacific. He'll also be chairing a roundtable, a business roundtable as well, wherein he will be interacting and engaging with key business leaders from both sides, India and Australia. Remember, this is also important because India and Australia, they elevated the partnership from strategic partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2020. And of course, we have been engaged with Australia on several defense engagements that include military-to-military exchanges, capacity building, cooperation in maritime, etc. Besides that, there's also engagement of in combat as well, as far as combat exercises are concerned. Remember, the Ministry of Defence in a statement stated that this visit comes at a historic moment when India and Australia, they commemorate 5 years of establishment of India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership.
All right, thank you so much, Sumita, for getting us all those details. But the next story that we are tracking is coming in from Supreme Court of India decided to examine a plea challenging the constitutional validity of the securities transaction tax, a direct tax levied on securities transaction through a listed stock exchange. Now, the court also sought a response from the centre on a petition filed by a trader who alleged it violated the principle of double taxation. Prakash Priyadarshi joins in with more details. Prakash.
Well, in a significant move, the Supreme Court of India has decided to examine a plea challenging the constitutional validity of securities transaction tax, that is STT, a very crucial development coming in. In fact, a petition which was filed before the Supreme Court mentioned that the STT is violating fundamental rights to equality. In fact, it violates principle of double taxation as well. The petition mentions that the a stock market trader pay capital gains tax on the profit made in the market, along with STT, which is over and above the capital gains tax already paid on the same transactions. That clearly violates the principle of double taxation. Along with that, the petitioner also argued that the STT is being levied irrespective of whether there is profit or not. Essentially, this is unique taxation structure being levied not only on profit but on loss as well, which needs to be addressed, and that clearly violates fundamental rights to equality. Therefore, a petition has been filed before the Supreme Court, which will be examined going forward.
Thank you, Prakash, for all those details. But moving on to some more news updates that we have trickling in. Now, West Bengal's picturesque Darjeeling witnessed one of the worst landslides in a decade, triggered by relentless rainfall. The landslide has claimed so far nearly 24 lives, leaving many others injured. Some villages were cut off entirely, houses were swept away, roads blocked, and communication networks were snapped, leaving hundreds of tourists stranded amid widespread devastation in Darjeeling.
All right. Now, Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal stated that India does not encourage cryptocurrencies that lack sovereign and asset backing. Although India will introduce a digital currency backed by RBI guarantee. Let's go across and listen in.
We have not been encouraging cryptocurrency which does not have sovereign backing or which is not backed by assets. Say it on the federal bank or local currency. So India has also announced that we'll be coming out with a digital currency which will be backed by Reserve Bank of India guarantee like currency, like normal currency. Normal currency will be replaced by a digital currency, somewhat like the stable coins that USA has announced, the Genius Act. And our idea is that this will only make it easier to transact. It will also reduce the paper consumption and will be faster to transact than the banking system also.
All right, so that's the Commerce Minister's take on cryptocurrency. But on that note, we'll take a very short break. Be right back with more news and updates on the other side.
Focus more on building a good business which will last for generations, and that is what we are trying to do. If you look at what we have tried to create in terms of our asset book, we are one of the most well-diversified companies. We are spread across all sectors, but retail and SME forms about 90% of our total book. Not only have we shown growth at a very good pace of about 28% over the last 3 years, we've also ensured that along with that we have kept our credit costs the least in the industry. So we are clearly focused on tapping the India opportunity and also ensuring that the book quality remains the best in industry.
It's more than the price. The consumer sentiments are very high, and this is the time when consumers plan throughout the year and they buy their appliances. Regarding talking about demand, India is highly under-penetrated for our products. If I talk about microwave oven, just 4% of household have microwave oven in India, and air conditioners just 11%, washing machine 21%. See, so if we talk about other major economies like China and USA, these penetrations are very high, ranging between 80 to 90%. And our products are just basics. I mean, these are no more luxuries. And it is just to make daily life comfortable. And India will remain a very strong consumption economy, and the demand will ever grow. I mean, that's not just a temporary spike. We hope and we firmly believe that this demand will continue.
All right, so that's about the new IPOs, but moving on to another news wherein retail sales are poised to hit an all-time high this festive season with projected growth of 30%, a sharp rise compared to 12% of last year. That's the word coming in from FARA VP Sai Girdhar, whereas Vijay sales expected 20% year-on-year growth this Diwali. Let's go across and listen in.
Though the numbers are still not finalized till date, but as far as retail is concerned, retail also would be a bumper. At least in my 30 years of career, I've never seen such a increase as far as numbers are concerned. And it's a cross segment. If I can just give you an intake on the Navratris last year versus 2023. So there was overall a 12% growth. This time around, we are expecting more than threefold growth. I'm taking threefold growth. That means above 30% growth is what we are expecting.
The Navratri this time has been excellent, thanks to the GST cut and the positive sentiments of the consumers. It's really been good. What we have seen is 20% growth over last year. In fact, before the beginning of the season, I had said if we do a 20% growth, then it will be a great Diwali this year. And now 20% growth seems to be a normal thing, at least for this year. So it's been a great show till now. We are seeing a good traction in mobiles, in laptops, in washing machines, and traditionally kitchen appliances and the small appliances are always the flavor of the Diwali. So in a nutshell, if you ask me, I think every category is rocking and we are in for a great Diwali this year, maybe once in a decade time.
All right, so that's about festive push across retail market. But moving on, in a first major revamp since 2014, the Health Ministry has announced revised rates for nearly 2,000 medical procedures under the central government health services scheme. We caught up with Dr. Bhaskar Rao, the CMD of KIMS Hospital, to decode the same. Let's listen into what he had to say.
It is not the optimal thing what the hospitals are expecting, but it is better than nothing. So at least there is a 15 to 20% of the existing price has been revised upwards. That will give little more confident and viable when compared to the previous things. But still, this is not the one where we can able to make any positive impact on our balance sheet. At least if we can able to increase another on the price what they have increased more than 20-25%, that will be more comfortable. We can able to meet the expenditure what we incurred during these patients, and we also able to work with the volume that we get without any issues.
All right, but with this fears, it's time to wrap this edition of Market Cafe. It's a goodbye from me and Kanishka and the entire team who put the show together. Thank you so much for tuning in.